What's up, everybody?
My name is Anthony Irvin.
You beat yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, CB myself.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm Jim Green.
Don't even need a hit of traffic light.
Okay, good.
Welcome to
One set.
When you're talking about hydration is not only for people training for championships and marathons. We're talking about daily maintenance people. Jim, did you know that 75% of Americans are chronically dehydrated?
I believe it, Anth. I mean, honestly, in my line of work, dealing with teaching children and also dancing with adults my age, younger and older, I can almost tell based off of how well people not just perform athletically, but how we carry ourselves and how we communicate back and forth, our facial gestures and just our energy alone. I can tell when somebody's sluggish and they're sleep deprived versus they're just sluggish because they're a dried up sponge because they are dehydrated, right?
Absolutely. And for people like me who are working the 9 to 5 and, for me gigging at night, proper hydration is definitely crucial to maintain function throughout the day and keeping yourself energized. And that's why proper functional hydration is essential. And who's going to give it to you? Liquid IV, because Liquid IV is the #1 powered hydration brand in America. Their hydration multiplier is the one product you're missing in your daily routine. I like to use it first thing in the morning. I've been doing a lot of workouts here and there, so I pop it in my water bottle first thing in the morning. Gives me a little boost of energy of what I need. And sometimes during the day when I'm doing that like 2 o'clock rundown, I'll pop a little one. If not in the morning, it gives me a little bit of that energy that I need. With just one stick, you can hydrate real life 2 times faster than water alone, plus get essential vitamins and 3 times the electrolytes as the leading sports drink. And not only that, Liquid IV comes in 12 delicious, refreshing flavors to keep your hydration routine exciting.
Yeah, Anth. I mean, for me personally, like my day to day, I'll wake up and pop a liquid IV just to get my day started and start off with proper hydration. And then I am like required to be physically active between the hours of like 2 or 3 p.m. until 9, 10, 11, sometimes midnight if I'm doing a backup gig. So I'll do another one maybe around noon, 1 p.m., and that'll keep me going throughout the day. And I just feel so much better. I don't even drink coffee on the regular like that because I don't need to pick me up unless if I'm like really just not sleeping much. And then I'm like, all right, get me that. I don't like to rely on caffeine unless I absolutely feel like I need it. Liquid IV does the trick for me. I don't know about you.
Again, one stick with Liquid IV and 16 ounces of water hydrates you 2 times faster and more efficient than water alone. It contains 5 essential vitamins with 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drinks, and it's made with quality ingredients, non-GMO, and free of gluten, dairy, and soy.
Liquid IV believes that equitable access to clean and abundant water is the foundation of a healthier world. They partner with leading organizations to fund and foster innovative solutions that help communities protect both their water and their futures. To date, Liquid IV has donated over 39 million servings in 50 plus countries around the world.
Yeah, man. Real people, real flavor, real hydrating. Get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use our code ONESETPOD. That's ONESETPOD and at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code ONESETPOD at liquidiv.com.
What's up, everybody? Wow. Here we are with another episode of the One Set Podcast. We are half a set today. Anthony has gone fishing and is not coming back until he catches a fish. And I will let him tell you that inside joke the next time he's on the podcast. He might be gone for a little bit, depending if he catches something anything, a fish, because he said, I'm not leaving until I catch a fish. So he could be back next episode. It might be weeks. I don't know. No, but in all seriousness, Anthony's fine. Like he's good. He wishes he could be here with us this week. Coming off of episode 100. He is out there trying to catch a fish. And a big fish at that. So I will let him talk about that when he comes back again. Out here representing my cousin Tom Green. Just kidding. No relation there, just breaking ball. Any rate, wow. My first time doing a podcast independently, totally solo on my own. So bear with me here if I'm not super great. You got to start somewhere, right? Speaking of that, I actually just started a new job the other day. Went in for an interview on Monday and they were like, can you start tomorrow? I was like, whoa. I was thinking like maybe have a week to get it together, like just sort some things out before I transition into that schedule. Just bit the bullet and said, I'll figure it out along the way. I don't have kids to navigate like that. Shout out to all of you parents. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how my parents did it all this time. And they're still doing it, right? Because you're never not a parent once you're a parent. Unless you abandon your kid. It's a different story. But I digress. I started another job and it's my first like desk job, which I have been resenting the idea of ever having one of those. But the other job that I do, the dance teaching situation, which if this is your first time tuning in, I teach dance. I've been dancing for 30 years and I've been teaching for almost 20. So reporting in before 8 a.m. and doing the desk thing, I thought like, okay, balance of both worlds, because the teaching kids, and when I say kids, I do mean the ages of like 3.5 and 4-year-olds until, through teenagers. And I've taught adult classes where they are, and when I say they, I mean the students in the adult classes are anywhere from 18 and 19 years old into 60 or 70 years old, right? So definitely a different dynamic. I mean, on your feet, you're teaching people to do something fun, something that I have been passionate about for 3 decades now. I started dancing when I was 7. Well, I started taking acro classes at the age of 7. So I guess in theory, I'm at 29 years now. And when I say in theory, I'm doing the actual math. And next September would be legitimately more like 30 years. But again, the desk job, it's a very, here, do this, do this, do this. It's kind of like data entry, but it's not. But I've heard stories, and I've watched The Office. If you've watched The Office, it's such a great comedic but realistic in a lot of ways depiction of what an office setup is like, because there are so many different dynamics happening with the people that are in the room around you. And I don't have a lot of people in my room. And when I say room, I'm not in a cubicle. I'm in a room with other people doing the same job as me, except my higher up is in and some other random people from different departments pop in. And It's very interesting. And I've only actually worked a few days there now. And the first 2 days, well, the first day, I sat down and just did the job for I only did 5 hours on the first day, but I'm sitting there doing the thing, no windows in the room, and nobody talked. And I was like, all right, everyone just kind of keeps to themselves. I can get good with that. Right. Um, most jobs, and when I say most, I mean a lot of the jobs that I've heard about in that environment, it's like you can put headphones in and you can listen to music, podcasts. Some people set their phones up and they're watching movies on the side, like they're glancing over. I didn't want to look at anybody the first day because I didn't want to be that new kid in the room, be like, when I say new kid, I mean like,
Dude, I've been getting this annoying itching feeling under my armpits from the deodorants I've been trying and using, and I can't seem to find something that works for me.
Have you ever tried maybe like a natural deodorant?
Natural deodorant? No. Are you insane?
No, but I am wild.
oh,
Wild is the UK's #1 natural deodorant company that focuses on performance, sustainability, and style.
Their mission is to clean up the bathrooms by leaving it free of ugly, single-use plastic bottles and unnecessary chemicals.
You know why Wild is great? Because it actually works and it's eco-friendly and contains over 98.5% natural ingredients.
They have a fully sustainable design with aluminum cases that last for a lifetime, plus biodegradable, recyclable refills. And you know what's cool? They can actually imprint your name on these aluminum cases for a small additional fee.
Wild is super convenient with flexible subscription options or paying as one-off purchases. And you can customize your order by choosing your case, color, and various scent combinations. I know I have the ocean mist, the fresh cotton and sea salt, and the orange and neroli flavors, and they all smell super great. And what's best about them is they don't just wear off immediately, and then all of a sudden you smell like BO.
Yeah, I've been rocking the sandalwood and patchouli scent right now. And again, great scent, lasts like throughout the day, that you're pretty much protected throughout the day. And I also was able to try the mint and aloe vera. Big aloe vera fan, right on point, long lasting, and you can look forward to these cases and scents in a limited edition every month.
Go wild today with a special discount of 25% off your first order when you get the code OneSetPod at checkout. Go to wearewild.com and use the code OneSetPod at checkout and enjoy.
Have you ever wanted to start your podcast but didn't know where to start? The One Set Bros are here to talk to you about Zencastr. Zencastr is the ultimate-based podcasting solution and now the all-in-one podcasting platform, making podcasting easy. They've sure made it easy for us to be able to record our podcast and our episodes every week for you guys. Once you've set up your account, you're simply one click away from recording a high-quality podcast with studio-quality sound and up to 4K video with your guests. My personal favorite feature is their multi-layered backups, which ensure our recordings are always in the highest quality, even during unstable web connections. And if you thought you needed multiple tools and services for your podcast, Zencastr's all-in-one podcasting platform allows you to create your podcast all in one place and distribute to Spotify, Apple, and other major destinations. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code OneSetPod, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experiences we do with all our podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story.
go back to grade school, middle school, or high school, and there's a new kid in the room. They don't want to draw attention to themselves and they don't want to look around the room unless they can't help themselves. Meanwhile, everyone's kind of peeking over at the new kid, right? I I didn't feel like people were peeking over at me, which is cool. I didn't feel like I was being watched over or anything. Um, the first couple of days. Um, and my first day on the job, I wasn't just going to break out my Bluetooth earbuds, pop them in, and be like, okay, I think I know what I'm doing after 10 minutes. And I was like, first day on the job, probably shouldn't. Right. So I took a couple opportunities to glance around the room when I could, and noticed everybody had like a Bluetooth one earbud in so that they could listen into one ear. And then if our super uh, came in the room and was like, hey, trying to give us instruction about like, once this is done, move on to this thing, next assignment, and we could pay attention. Nobody's blasting music, at least that I could hear when I wasn't listening to my own earbuds, right? So got through day one, and then I went into day two. And the first day I went in and around like 9 a.m. They were like, come in at 9. We're all in the building by then, for first shift because the place is open 24 hours. And I was like, okay. So like clocked in, got settled in, got told, this is the assignment. And just went at it. And the next day I reported in at 7:30 in the morning because I do the dance teaching thing in the evening. So I can't stay until 4 or 5 o'clock because that's when I start the next job. Right. So I reported at 7:30 and past couple days and left. I think it was 2 or 2:30 the second day, and then 1:30 I had to leave the third day because my evening job is I have to travel far for that one. So when I presented my availability in my interview, I just said, hey, this one day I have to get out early, and they were like, that's fine. And I was like, cool. I don't work Mondays because my one other job, I have a weekly meeting, like a virtual meeting, at 11:30 a.m. So I don't like to work Mondays anyway. I used to not teach Mondays, and I loved it. I actually taught Friday evenings for about 10 years. And I think I mentioned this before. The students that show up on Fridays, they want to be there, right? Which as an instructor of a child's extracurricular activity, if they're coming on a Friday, they want to be there. So I gravitated towards that. And I still tend to, more so than the Monday night situation. Just so happens I do teach Monday nights this year. And that's totally okay because I was trying to keep my weekends a little bit more available. So if I needed to travel, I could utilize Friday evening to get on the road rather than when I was working Fridays and having to leave after being done teaching, especially if like there was a few months there where I picked up a studio towards the end of the season and I would get home at 10 o'clock and then Cheyenne and I would get on the road for our 3 to 5 hour trip, depending on traffic, trip to the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, right? So I am fortunate that I still have my Friday evenings open, but because I don't work Mondays for the new job, because I have that meeting with the other studio. It's a staff meeting. It's a weekly meeting that we do, which they just started this season, and it's actually been great. It's kept us all very connected. And again, that has been great because plenty of studios I have taught at, it's show up, teach, do your thing, catch up with the boss if they're there, and see you next week. See you next week. We gotta go. We're out of here. Right? Sting. We gotta go. Sorry, just lost my train of thought for a moment. So I'm fortunate that I don't have to do the day job Mondays. But since I don't teach Friday evenings currently, I told them, hey, I can't work Mondays, but I can work Fridays as many hours as you'd like me to work. And they're like, great, we'll put you on for 8 hours minimum, maybe 10, 12 if you're up to it. And I'm like, if it's a Friday and I don't have anything going on, catch those hours. Why not? Right? Because between Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'm not seeing more than like 6 hours in those days. So, I'm not going to work 20 hours on a Friday or 22, more than 22, and then be in that overtime field. Like, that's not going to happen unless if they want me to come in on weekends where I have available just to do some extra work, which that conversation hasn't even happened yet. It's just something in my mind that I'm like, hey, if I'm just hanging around, not with much going on in my schedule, go to work, clock in. This job is super close to home. So the commute, traffic, never a thing. If I had to walk in the snow, I could get there. It's pretty cool. Depending where I'm at. If I'm coming from this studio location, it's like me running to my high school. I've done it. I could do it. So yeah, very interesting. The new job in the room where everyone's doing kind of like the mindless project it's a huge project that requires a lot of people to help get the job done over weeks of time, months of time. So they were behind, they needed extra help. I was able to slide in real quick. Got my foot in the door. It's very entry level, which I'm okay with. Years from now, I'll be able to look back, hopefully, and say, started from the bottom, now we're here. Very interesting, because I have contemplated, obviously the dance career thing that I have been doing for the last 18 years. I say 18 because the career, granted, I was a student in the game as a kid growing up, but once I started to teach and started to make money and then started to book performance gigs, that's when I was like, okay, you're in the work field in the dance industry. And then traveling the country, the So You Think You Can Dance stuff, which Anthony and I have gone into a couple of times in the past 100 episodes. This is episode 101, by the way. This is episode 101. Such a wild thing to think. If you didn't catch Anthony and I doing episode 100, go check that out. Anthony dropped a revamped version of an original song that he recorded 10 to 15 years ago. I want to say it was closer to 15. And I released a dance video, which I don't do. Never really got into like the active social media posting situation that like most people insist is a necessity at this point. And I think I've just been very reluctant to jump onto that bandwagon. and say, oh, this is necessary to stay relevant. But it's interesting because the whole social media thing with everyone being on their phones all the time, it's you're you're putting yourself, which when you're in the entertainment industry and in um well, entertainment industry is just about it. Um, if you're silent for too long, people start to forget about not necessarily forget about you, but think, oh, they must really not be doing much, which isn't true. I've been doing things. I just have been reluctant to jump on the bandwagon of saying, hey, I need to tell everybody about my life 24/7. It's catch 22, right? So Anthony encouraged me to do the uh, dance post. I did the thing, and he's like, "Dude, he's been really encouraging me." And thank you once again because I thanked you endlessly on episode 100. Um, and thank you to everybody who has tuned in and has reached out or have reached out to both Anthony and I. We are just so super proud to be doing this. And Anthony, out there fishing right now, he was like, I'm stuck in the water right here. I'm gonna need you to take the pod." Um, in the short term. And I'm like, until when? He's like, until I catch a fish. I was like, okay, I can do that. I got your back, you know? So here I am. Super weird to just be talking into a camera, but I know plenty of other people have done this before. So it's like, what do I have to be afraid of? All it is I'm just talking to myself, but knowing other people are going to hear it. So let's talk about the things. It's the holiday season, and whoop-de-doo, and whoop-de-doo. No, in all seriousness, though, this past weekend, I participated in my first Nutcracker performance ever. The studio that I grew up at did not do the Nutcracker performances every holiday season. One of the studios that I have been teaching at now for 7, almost 8 years, the director asked me to be a part, and I said I would love to. And they were so nervous to ask, and I was like, "No, it's something I've never done before." And shout out to my family who came to see me in the show, and I tried to tell them, "Hey, I'm not dancing a lot. I'm just one of the parts of the show that help the show tell the story without giving too much away for those that don't know." But I had to act, which was different for me because I always resorted to my dance training and executing the movement to carry me on stage. So being a part of something where I had to act a specific part and channel some theatrics, very outside of my comfort zone, especially lately. I would have to play certain parts in dance routines growing up and some into my 20s, but I haven't done something like this before. So, and to be a part of a Nutcracker, which again, growing up wasn't a thing at my studio, and I was very okay with it at the time because I didn't appreciate ballet like I do now. having done the dance thing for 30 years almost. So it was super cool to be a part of that. I think the biggest thing for me was because the performance happened at the start of December, it actually helped kickstart my holiday spirit, which I usually, in the last probably 5 to 10 years, haven't gotten into the holiday spirit until, if not the week before Christmas, like last minute shopping, wrapping gifts on Christmas Eve, and then being excited to give the gifts, right? And spend Christmas Day with the people that I love, right? I enter the holiday spirit through the Nutcracker performance because it is a very holiday show vibe and story. So then I interviewed for this job and they wanted me to talk the next day. And now I'm like, oh my God, when do I shop? And then I think about parents, even single parents, who work 1 or 2 jobs, kids are in school. When do you shop? At least there's Amazon now. You can do basically everything online, right? I don't like to shop online because I'm too anxious about what if it shows up and it's not what I wanted or ordered. Prime example. I found this really cool watch that I wanted Cheyenne to have for Christmas. Our first Christmas together, which was 2 years ago. We got together a little after the Christmas prior to that. So we're coming up on 3 years soon. She's just like me, doesn't wear gold jewelry. It's not her preference, her taste, or flavor. So I found this really awesome watch that had a green background. I know that's not like watch face. There's probably a more correct word for it. I don't know watches like that. I'd always lose them, or I'd go to dance and they'd annoy me to no end wearing them. I now have this watch that my mother got me for my birthday a couple years ago, and it's a Samsung Galaxy watch, which ties into my phone. So I've kept my phone on silent. I've kept my phone on silent probably for the past 15, almost 20 years. 20 years ago was when I got my first cell phone. 2003, I was 16 years old. And, I was sophomore in high school. And, having your ringer on in school was a no-no. So, nope. I went to dance. Don't have your ringer on. If you're in class and someone's cell phone's ringing out in the room where we kept our things, big trouble, right? So I would usually keep my phone on vibrate, right? And then somewhere in the last 15 to 20 years, I'd say 13 to 15 years, because I want to say 2010 was really when I noticed that everyone was getting smartphones. The kids I was teaching that were in high school, they all had them, right? Social media was, you're talking Facebook, which I think was created in 2004. I did see the Social Network movie where Justin Timberlake played Zuckerberg's friend. I forget the actor who played Mark Zuckerberg in the movie. And that movie came out probably 15 years ago, maybe 10 or 11 years ago. Um, and through time, everyone just started gravitating to their phones so much. So for me, I keep my phone on silent, and I'll look at it every so often, and then I'll be on it too much, and then I'll tell myself, you got to put this thing down. There's a whole entire world around you. You have other priorities. Stay in your lane, right? So, at any rate, let's dial back to that watch that I want to get for Cheyenne. This thing looks so cool online, and I ordered it, and it came in a week before Christmas. Certainly not enough time for me to return it when they sent me a gold watch. She's worn the watch a few times. Just she's thrown it on, just be like, I love the watch. I just wish I wore gold. And I was like, you don't have to wear it. It's not, I showed her the picture of the one that I wanted her to have. This is why I like to go to the store so I see what I'm getting. Call me old school. Tell me, oh, well, Jimbo, maybe you should have ordered that watch way ahead of time so that you had time to send it back and tell them they messed up. Keep messing up, right? Look, I found the watch, and when I saw it, I ordered it, and it was 7 to 10 days before Christmas. There was no returning. I could have probably returned it after the fact, but it really just burned me up inside. I watch my sisters, my mother order stuff through Amazon, and they get deliveries all the time. That's how they shop. They don't have to go to the malls. The mall that we grew up at was torn down. Wow, Delco people. Has it been 10 years? I think it's been 10 years since they tore that mall down, or at least they closed it. I know 14 years ago it was still a thing, but I think quickly between 2009 and maybe it was 2014. So maybe it's only been 9 years, but all the stores inside started to close, and then the mall was basically not a thing. Not a lot of malls left, you know? So back to the Amazon thing and ordering gifts and me getting this new job. I actually don't have like a day where I can just say, hey, I've got 4 or 5 hours and I'm going to just go out and shop and find things, or make a list and say, I need to go here, 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 try to get as much covered as I can. It's not happening this year. So again, like I said, new job I interviewed for, and they were like, can you start tomorrow? And I was like, sure, I'll figure everything else out. And then now I'm like, oh fudge, when am I going to get all of that taken care of? My next 2 weekends, I'm in Maryland for rehearsals the next couple Saturdays. I have some prior engagements for Saturday evenings, and Same thing for the Sundays. I've got family stuff going on this coming Sunday, and I have a company holiday party on the other Sunday. I have a little time in that morning. And like I said, I don't have the first shift job on Mondays, but I do have that meeting for my one company dead smack at the end of the morning, entering the early afternoon. So I'm like, oh wow, I'm really in a pinch here. Figure this out. So holiday cheer. Holiday cheer. And we are, what is it? What's the date right now? We're 2.5 weeks away from Christmas once this drops, right? So I'll figure it out. I'll get it done. I don't have a million people to shop for. I know a couple things that I want to get certain people, but it's just a matter of, can I just drive to a store and get it, knowing go get it, go home, cool, tuck it away, wrap it Christmas Eve. Plenty of years where I did a lot of my wrapping like Christmas morning, Christmas early afternoon, and before the family would show up. Where the family would show up and I'd be like, oh, everybody's here. I should probably go upstairs and wrap real quick before they open this gift. Pardon me. So that's where I'm at for the holidays. And when I say holidays, I do mean I was raised and grew up through Christmas. And that is what me and my family celebrate. For those of you that celebrate all of the other holidays, I hope and wish the best for all of you entering this holiday season, and hope that whether it be your shopping experience or the more important aspect of it, that you get to connect with your loved ones, right? Maybe there's a friend of yours that you haven't seen in a long time and you get to meet up with them if either you moved away from home and you happen to be back home, or vice versa. Maybe there's a friend out there that you haven't talked to in years, and reach out to them and say, hey, I know we haven't talked in a long, long time, but I hope all is well with you. It's quick. It's just like that, right? So, old friends, family that you haven't talked to, maybe you had a bad situation with a family member long, long ago. And some people don't like to say, oh, geez, you're just using the holiday as a crutch. Maybe. Sometimes 100%. And sometimes you can dismiss that context entirely and just say, you know what? We could never talk again. But I made this step. I put forth the effort. How the other person receives the outreach, balls in their court, right? I speak of this because I had that situation happen to me like maybe 5 years ago. And I was just like, okay. Okay. At least I reached out. And for those of you out there that are pondering it, I encourage you to do it. Make it happen, right? 2024 is around the corner. That's weird. Everybody's going to be writing the date down Oh, January, whatever day of January or February or March 2023. Oh, shoot, that's wrong. That was so last year, right? Okay, enough holiday talk. Talked about the job. Anthony's out fishing still. Um, dance things. I know I talked about the Nutcracker. Um, it was really cool. I was part of a seminar last week. It was a virtual conference, and the guest speaker was someone that I took from at conventions when I was a kid. And conventions when I was a kid really helped inspire me to really want to gravitate into the dance industry. So going into this conference and not knowing who the guest speaker was and then finding out who it was, I was jazzed. So jazzed. Okay. Because you can't say I was ballet or hip hopped. You can say I was tapped, but that that just it's not right. I was jazzed. I was jazzed. Okay. Um, so just super cool. Not going to share like the details of that conference, but it definitely really inspired me to approach my teaching methods from a different perspective. So taking that knowledge into consideration has really helped make my teaching this past week a lot more fun. And not that it's not fun usually. I have fun teaching. I you know, they say people have made mention. You don't work a day in your life if you love what you do. Right. And that's part of the desk job that I just started. I'm like, okay, I can tell why people would be cranky and miserable doing this all the time. I've been very fortunate to make some sort of a living doing something that I grew up with, doing something that I absolutely love and aspired to do because I aspired to inspire, right? And I still aspire to inspire. It's an ongoing, never-ending cycle, right? So, just that seminar alone, that conference that I did last Friday has definitely been super cool. I am doing a lot more teaching conferences and seminars like that. Just getting really good with where I am at in my life. Like I am way closer to 40 than I am 20 or 30. Right. So just being in that space where I'm doing way more teaching and choreographing and working with um, children ages 3 and up, um, and trying to navigate where certain age groups are after the pandemic, right? Your kindergarteners that couldn't learn how to read, who are still playing catch up and mustard, right? Just instilling curiosity in my students and not feeling like I have to hand them everything. And when I say hand them everything, the one real big takeaway was instilling using your mentality, using your brain, right? Like, and it's that fine line of how do you encourage students to work, to want to use their brain, to want to put forth the effort, right? That's our battle as instructors, as teachers, and that applies to coaches everywhere, school teachers, bosses, for adults. How do companies encourage someone on a lower level like me that at the job that I just started? How do they motivate you to go from here to here to here? Pay raise. Sure. That's an incentive. But it's motivating you into a position of value, right? So it's preaching to my students, and like anyone in my field knows, hey, you know, some kids are there and really want to be there, and they're eager to learn. Some kids not as much. Adults in the workforce, same thing. Some people come to work and they want to learn how to be better, and they want to do more. Some people show up to work and they're doing bare minimum just so they don't get fired, and they want to get paid, and then they're like, where's my raise? And the company turns around and it's like, pizza party. Yeah. Oh. You know who loved pizza party? Andy. You know who didn't love pizza party? Woody and Buzz Lightyear. That's who. Right? So, the dance things. Some pretty cool things I've got lined up for 2024. Not going to talk about them just yet because I'm still finalizing some things, some situations, some exposés, some parties. Pizza party. Because who's getting a raise? Just everything you go to buy right now, right? Cool. Should we talk about the Eagles? Nah. If Anthony catches a fish between now and after the Dallas game, because the Cowboys game is a big game, that's where all the stakes are right now. The Niners lost some stuff. I know I said, nah, let's not talk about it. I'm just mentioning it because I'm going to get out of it real quick. I didn't get to see the second half of the game because I had a staff dinner for one company that I work for. I saw the first half, and it was still only the first half. And in the staff dinner, I was getting texts like, "Oh, it's not good. It's not going good." So I'm actually glad I missed it. Hence, I'm not going to talk too much about it. Everyone's down about it, and I'm like, "Hey, you win some, you lose some. Get it together. Let's get this win in Dallas." Okay. Last big thing I want to talk about, and it is a wrestling thing, so it's a pretty big deal. So his name is CM Punk, right? Dropped the pipe bomb 9 years ago, 2014, right on live television. Grabbed the mic, went out, ran his mouth, said some things he shouldn't have said. Left WWE, tried out UFC, bomb, right? 7 years later, 2021, he debuted in AEW, which the thing I didn't like about that is people in Chicago at that Dynamite taping already knew he was going to be there. Like AEW had to tell everybody CM Punk's going to be on a night, and everyone was just waiting for it to happen. His music hits, Everyone goes bonkers. It's crazy. He had his falling outs more than once in that company in a short amount of time. Watching Survivor Series War Games, and Randy Orton had returned. Pretty big deal. He had back surgery. Nobody knew if he was coming back. Here's Randy Orton looking stellar as ever. They roll the end credit. They put the little stamp on the bottom corner of the screen that basically lets you know, oh, the program's ending. And then it cuts to CM Punk's music, and there he is. And then he walks out in WWE. Pretty big deal. One of the biggest things that happened. And granted, CM Punk returning to wrestling, sports entertainment in general was a big deal when he did it in AEW, right? Certainly the biggest thing to happen to that company probably in its existence since AEW started 4 years ago, right? CM Punk returning to WWE is even more crazy, just on the terms of how he left. And it's so open-ended right now as to now what's going to happen, right? So WWE has instilled curiosity in its audience to tune in. Oh, shoot. Dropped my fidget spinner. Sorry. And dropped it again. That nervous kid. Clickety click, 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 click. Right. So now it's, oh, what do they do with CM Punk now? Seth Rollins match is obvious. Everyone anticipates that being a WrestleMania match. Should be. And would be great. People are like, CM Punk's old now, isn't he? CM Punk just turned 45 years old. Randy Orton is 43 years old. John Cena is older than CM Punk. John Cena is 46 years old. You wouldn't think it. Who would have thunk it? Right? I mean, John Cena just still looks great for his age. I mean, some balding going on up here. He's still the man. And it's crazy because everyone hated him because of how much the company pushed him down the audience's throats for years and years and years and years and years. And now he's rarely around. And when he does show up, everyone goes nuts. And so many wrestling fans, your hardcore wrestling fans, will go on about, oh, these part-timers that just kind of show up whenever they want and do a couple matches, and then they get their big payday and then they're gone. Yeah, what about the people who are there working their tails day in and day out, 300 days a year, and then they don't even get a WrestleMania match, right? And Triple H said it on the WrestleMania press conference back in April. He said, to that, I just tell everyone, step it up. If we're putting these part-timers on the card, it's because they have something to offer that you don't. I can see, I Spill hater. Right? I can see both sides to that story, right? It's a business. They're doing whatever it takes to generate the largest attraction for money, right? So something like Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, I don't want to see it. I want to see Roman Reigns and The Rock. it would be gigantic. It is the highest anticipated match right now, at least for WWE. Sure, there are other companies in the world and other wrestlers out there, sports entertainers for other companies, that there are dream matches that exist, right? I like Cody Rhodes. I don't think that he's the one that I want to see end Roman Reigns' long historic title reign. I've said it before, saying it again. I would actually like to see Randy Orton take the belt off of Roman Reigns somehow with the Rock interference. I think I did mention that on episode 100. I don't recall if it was during the recording or if that was something that Anthony and I had talked about off the air. Not too sure. But yeah, that's the other thing. Once the holidays surpass, Royal Rumbles at the end of January. We get the Super Bowl in the second week of February. And then it's literally the road to WrestleMania season. It's already right here. Unreal. Crazy. Well, this has been, again, very new for me, riding this solo. Anthony, if you're out there and you hear this, if you're still waiting to catch your fish, shoot me a text, man. Maybe you're just in areas that you can't get back to me right away. Keep me posted. Send me a pic once you get that pic, or save it for whenever episode you decide you'd like to come back and join us. And we would love to have you. This has been one set, half a set. It's been half a set. Don't make me cry over here. I miss my buddy. No. Jokes aside. I might be seeing everyone next week solo, unless if I got a couple guests lined up, but I was saving them because I know once Anthony and Jen welcome their baby number 2 into the world, I have a couple guests lined up for that. So you might be seeing me riding solo again in episode 102. Or I might have to bring somebody on with me to make it a little more interesting, because I can be a little bit of fun, but I can be a lot more fun if I have some energy to work off, right? If you have any, if it's anybody out there tuning in and watching this, and you have any guests that you know of that you'd like me to bring on, drop in the comments below, right? If you're watching this on YouTube. If you're just listening on Spotify, you can email us the number 1setpod@gmail.com. That is 1setpod@gmail.com. One Set fam, thank you for tuning in. We are on the road to episode 200. And this is just the start of it. I'll see you next time. All the love.